Will the House please come to order and members kindly take their seats? Good morning. The devotional today will be led by Pastor Matt Miller of the Community Bible Chapel in Brattleboro.
Good morning. It's a privilege and an honor to be with you this morning. And it's also a privilege and honor to have smart friends. And smart friends sometimes give you quotes that you can use at a house devotional. And so you don't have to think that hard for yourself. So I'm grateful for my friend Holly, who says, the problem at the heart of it all, the problem at the heart of it all is the failure to understand what it means to be a person, whose own existence matters irrespective of others' experience of each of us. This is something the church, writ large, has failed to really wrestle with enough to be able to represent the truth and to teach it. Not a single person's worth is tied to what they create or provide or make anyone else feel. Our existence, each of us without exception, our presence and experience of the world around us is inherently valuable. Holly's quote made me think or ask the question to myself, what does it mean to be a person? I asked my friend James this morning what he thought it meant to be a person, and he instantly drew a blank. In the Christian tradition, it means to be made in the image of God. But what does that mean, to be made in the image of God? The debate among theologians rages on. But I'd say to be made in the image of God means, at the very least, that something inherent in our nature as human beings reflects the person of God. And it occurs to me that this reflection is something like the capacity to care. It occurs to me that there's something divine in our capacity to care about how it all shakes out, to feel as if we have a stake in our world. This is not a philosophy or an ideology. This is nature and instinct. We have a stake in time, history, and creation. We are not fully alive, we're not fully ourselves until that is a reality for us and not merely a platitude. Your well-being is not different than my well-being. My well-being is not different than your well-being. But I cannot begin to understand this until I am convinced that despite my relative powerlessness, I am invaluable. So I say to you this morning, you are not a lawmaker. You are a person who makes laws because you care. And I am not a pastor. I am a person who teaches the Bible because I care. I often feel like I need your praise and your attention, and the praise and attention of my congregants, but I realize that I don't really need it, or that's not precisely what I need. And you do not need my vote. We, as people, as individuals, need each other to remember together that we're all invaluable. Thank you.
Will you please rise as Paige Scarlett Bedford of Sharon leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members, we have 4 House bills for introduction today. The first is House Bill 901, which is an act relating to inclusion of disability expertise in state, regional, and municipal emergency management, introduced by Representative Burrows of West Windsor. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
H 901, an act relating to inclusion of disability expertise in state, regional, and municipal emergency management.
Now the bill's been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs. Next is House Bill 902, which is an act relating to approval of amendments to the Charter of the City of Barre, introduced by Representatives Booton of Barre City and Wazizack Barre City. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
H 902, an act relating to approval of amendments to the Charter of the City of Barre.
Now the bill's been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Government Operations and Military Affairs. House Bill 903 is an act relating to information collected by providers during the first and second certification, introduced by Representative Booton of Barre City. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
H 903, an act relating to information collected by providers during the first and second certification.
Now the bill has been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Human Services. And finally, House Bill 904 is an act relating to establishing an automated DNA tracking system, introduced by Representative Odie of Burlington. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
H 904, an act relating to establishing an automated DNA tracking system.
Now the bill has been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Judiciary. Members, we also have one Senate bill for referral today. Senate Bill 208 is an act relating to standards for law enforcement identification, introduced by Senator Hashim and others. Please listen to the first reading of the bill.
S 208, an act relating to standards for law enforcement identification.
Now the bill's been read the first time and is referred to the Committee on Judiciary. We have 2 bills on the notice calendar that require referral to a money committee pursuant to House Rule 35A. House Bill 578 is an act relating to penalties and procedures for animal cruelty offenses affecting the revenue of the state. The bill is referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. And House Bill 660 is an act relating to the fiscal year 2027 opioid abatement special fund appropriations. Carrying an appropriation, the bill is referred to the Committee on Appropriations. In addition, members, this morning the Committee on Ways and Means reported favorable with amendment to House Bill 577, which is an act relating to establishing the Vermont Prescription Drug Discount Card Program. Carrying an appropriation, the bill is referred to the Committee on Appropriations. Members, the Senate refused to concur in the House proposal of amendment on House Bill 50, which is an act relating to identified underutilized state buildings and land, and requested a committee of conference and appointed its members thereto. Pursuant to that action, the chair appoints the following members to serve on the Committee of Conference on the part of the House: the member from Fairfield, Representative Gregoire; the member from Montpelier, Representative Casey; and the member from Shelburne, Representative Sweeney. Members, we have received a request to read a House concurrent resolution that the House and Senate adopted pursuant to the consent calendar. HCR 197 is a House concurrent resolution congratulating the YMCA on its 175th anniversary and extending best wishes for the organization's future endeavors. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Whereas on December 29, 1851, Thomas Valentine Sullivan established the first YMCA in the United States at the Old South Church in Boston, Massachusetts, mirroring the Y movement in England, with a mission to build healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. And whereas in 1866, the first Y in Vermont opened in Burlington. And whereas since 1851, the Y has been dedicated to meeting evolving needs of American communities, strengthening society by bringing people together, fostering relationships, and creating a sense of belonging. And whereas the Y serves people of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities, creating spaces where all people feel welcome. And whereas the many historic milestones of the Y's last 175 years are of both organizational and national significance. And whereas the selection of the highlights of the Y's 175-year odyssey include conducting the first night school and English as a second language classes, inventing basketball, offering the first group swimming lessons, serving as the birthplace of Father's Day, receiving the Nobel Peace Prize in 1946 for the achievement of its National War Work Council, serving as America's leading nonprofit provider of childcare and after-school programs, and offering important community support services during the pandemic. And whereas nationwide, 2,600 Ys located in every state and territory receive support from more than 300,000 staff and 350,000 volunteers, and they annually serve 6.5 million children and 11 million adults. And whereas in Vermont, the YMCA of Greater Burlington and the Meeting Waters YMCA, established in 1895, serve 15,000 Vermonters through the diligent efforts of 600 staff and 80 volunteers. And whereas during this anniversary year, Ys across the country will celebrate with special commemorative events. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the General Assembly congratulates the YMCA on its 175th anniversary and extends best wishes for the organization's future endeavors. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to the YMCA of Greater Burlington and the Meeting Waters YMCA.
Are there any announcements, member from Brattleboro?
Madam Speaker, when I was thinking about my introduction of for our devotional today of Matt Miller, I actually wrote what I wanted to say before the devotional, and now I feel like, frankly, I'm just repeating the devotional. So I would like to appreciate Matt Miller for teaching me what it can mean to be a community pastor in a new way, and for showing me a new way that him and his family really, truly care for our community. I hope you can join me in welcoming him today.
Will the guests of the member from Brattleboro please rise and be recognized? Member from Burlington.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You just heard the reading of the resolution honoring the Y's 175th birthday. They don't look a day over 75 if you've seen their new building. Anyway, the YMCA has been a fixture in Burlington, which I'm speaking to that one, in our community since 1866, just 1 year after Burlington was incorporated, which is pretty amazing. And having worked in the nonprofit sector, I know how hard it is to keep a nonprofit going and continuing to grow and be responsive to community changes, and the Y has done a pretty amazing job. So the Y has touched the lives of so many in my community. I can speak from personal experience. This is going to sound weird, but I camped out at 3 a.m. one year in the cold to be in line to register my son for their childcare program because I so desperately needed that to be able to do my job and know that he was going to be well cared for. I relied on the staff at the Y to pick up my daughter at her kindergarten class at Edmonds Elementary and walk her over to the Y for a safe and fun after-school program. So again, my husband and I could work. Both my kids learned how to swim at the Y, and my daughter joined the Y's Dynamo swim team, and it gave her a lifelong love of swimming. My son was a counselor in training at Greylock when he was in middle school, early high school, and he participated in the Y's Youth on Boards leadership program, which then later placed youth on boards at different organizations. My son was selected to serve on the Y's board as a high school student. These experiences gave my kids an amazing start in life. My family's experiences are not unique. So many children gain new skills and confidence through the Y. So many parents rely on the Y's childcare and after-school care. Madam Speaker, the member from Colchester would like to say a few words as well.
Member from Colchester.
Madam Speaker, the member from Burlington may be lucky enough to have the Greater Burlington YMCA situated in her district, but I had the great fortune to work there for over 9 years and experience the power of the YMCA in action. The work of the Y is informed by the organization's core values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. These are more than just words. They are put into practice in decision-making and guide the interactions among members, staff, and volunteers. And during my time at the Y, one colleague in particular, someone who dedicated her 42-year working career to the Y, helped me understand the power of anchoring oneself to such simple yet powerful principles. The Y is a crossroads for neighbors of all ages and diverse backgrounds, with a unique opportunity to serve as a convener and a powerful center of community. For 160 years in Vermont and 175 years in the United States, it has been just that. It has for so many others, as it has for so many others, the Y had a deep impact on me in that it provided a place for opportunity, for growth, and perhaps most importantly, and why I wanted to stand today, is where I formed very close friendships. So, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the member from Burlington, the member from Westminster, in whose district the meeting orders YMCA is located, and me, I would ask that you help us congratulate and welcome to the People's House YMCA staff and volunteers who are seated in the balcony this morning.
Will the guests of the member from Colchester please rise and be recognized? Are there any further announcements? Member from Cornwall.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House Committee on Education be relieved of H817, an act relating to mental health support and substance use disorder prevention in schools, and that the same be committed to the House Committee on Healthcare.
The member from Cornwall moves that the Committee on Education be relieved of House Bill 817, which is an act relating to mental health support and substance use disorder prevention in schools, and that the same be committed to the Committee on Healthcare. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have relieved the Committee on Education of House Bill 817 and committed the same to the Committee on Healthcare. Are there any further announcements? Member from Brattleboro.
Madam Speaker, our state curator would like members to know that there will be a reception in the cafeteria this afternoon for the two artists whose work is currently hanging on the walls. Stop by from 3:30 to 5:30 to meet with and look at the work of Glenn Coburn Hutchison and Monica Giovanni. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Westminster.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to let the body know that today, February 17th, is an important day in a lot of the world. It's the first day of Ramadan for people who are Muslim, and it's the first day of Lunar New Year, which for me means we should have three weeks of vacation coming up, because I grew up in Taiwan, and Chinese New Year always was followed by lots of celebration and holiday time. So if you're not from that tradition, you're supposed to eat a lot of food and hang out with your friends and family. And even if we don't get a vacation, we do get a little bit of time off for town meeting during that same period. So happy Chinese New Year. It's the year of the horse, and that means a year of adventuring and traveling and maybe some bumpy rides. So I don't know what that means here in this chamber. Let's hope that it's not too much of a metaphor.
Member from Weston.
Madam Speaker, the Agency of Natural Resources and the Treasurer's Office are hosting an evening of conversation in connection with snacks to share more information about the new resilience implementation strategy, which is a plan to bolster the economic, social, and environmental hardiness of our communities. Copies of the executive summary are down on the table if you're curious. You will learn about this statewide effort to strengthen resilience in the face of floods, droughts, and other weather impacts. State staff from many agencies will speak about specific resilience actions currently underway to strengthen Vermont communities. This is an opportunity to connect and network with others working to build adaptability in Vermont. This is going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, February 18th at 5:30 in the Pavilion. And they ask that you please RSVP on the ANR website. You can just search for Resilience Implementation Strategy.
Member from Cambridge.
Madam Speaker, the Rural Caucus will meet tomorrow morning from 8 to 8:45 in room 10 and on Zoom. We will be continuing our discussion on Act 181 and will be joined by the Regional Planning Commissions and former Representative Buss from Woodstock. All are welcome.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Newport City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. February is nearly over, and what comes next can only mean one thing, and it isn't more curling, but is instead the March Madness competition. This weekend, I was reminded of this upcoming event from the former member from Chittenden, who pleaded with me to make an announcement on his behalf to the body. Madam Speaker, it would be a really big deal to the former member if I could share his announcement. May I do so?
You may.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a floor announcement from the former member from Chittenden. His message follows. Madam Speaker, I suspect there may have been some rumors circulating regarding the leadership of this year's all-important March Madness competition. While it's true that I am officially retired, however, as a self-appointed commissioner, I still maintain certain rights and privileges about appointments under the rules that I made up. It is therefore my honor and privilege to announce this year's co-commissioners. The member from Swanton, Representative Walker, the member from Charlotte, Representative Waters Evans, and that new associate from the tax department, Sarah Meerhoff. On the women's side, I'm pleased to report that the member from Fairfax, Representative Bartley, will be returning as commissioner of the women's contest. The March Madness organization continues to grow and will be supported by a team that includes Connor and Anna Grace from the Speaker's office, Teresa from the House Clerk's office, Ashley from the Pro Tem's office, Holly, our State House Tour Director, and James from the Lieutenant Governor's office. I encourage you all to consider participating this year and to be part of the fun. And who knows, you may just take the crown away from the member from Waterbury. In closing, I miss you all and wish you the very best in your work this session. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Are there any further announcements? Member from Wolcott.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Older Vermonters Caucus will meet tomorrow in room 10 at noon. We'll have an overview of the Vermont Rural Health Transformation Grant and an update from the Vermont Alzheimer's Association. Thank you.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, orders of the day. Members, we have one bill on our action calendar today that is House Bill 898, which is an act relating to copper-based to fiber-based telecommunications, network transitions, and consumer protections. Prior to third reading, the member from Northfield, Representative Donahue, offers an amendment to the bill that is printed in today's calendar. Member from Northfield.
Madam Speaker, members can find the bill itself, since it was a committee bill, either on the committee webpage or among the bills on the website. But because it only pertains to an addition to one particular sentence, they may not feel a need to do so. It does pertain to what was page 4 of the original bill. And section 1 of that bill goes through the list of required notices to consumers. Madam Speaker, I thought the bill was done really well in terms of those protections. And therefore, I was very supportive. I thought there was one small piece that would benefit consumers that could be added to one section, and that was to subsection 6, which currently requires that there be a link to the consumer protection rules in the Public Utility Commission, Rule 7.600, Standards for Billing, Credit, and Collections and Customer Information for Telecommunications Carriers, which includes a Consumer Bill of Rights. Madam Speaker, in honor of my parents, when they were still with us, but really did not feel very comfortable with trying to track things down by a link on the internet versus being able to have something in their hand, my proposed addition simply adds that there should be information to those consumers about how they can access a written copy to be mailed to them as an alternative. That is the language in today's House calendar. And Madam Speaker, I would read it aloud if the calendars had been delivered to our desks this morning. I don't have it in front of me. I thought I did, but it's actually the original bill. But the words basically say, do say, Madam Speaker, or how to obtain a hard copy of Rule 7.600 by U.S. mail. Madam Speaker, it's a small clarification to help some of our non-consumer literate consumers and computer literate, and I urge the body's support.
Member from Dover.
Madam Speaker, the House Energy and Digital Infrastructure Committee heard the amendment and thanks the member for bringing it, and on a straw poll supported it by a vote of 8-0-1.
The question is, shall the bill be amended as offered by the member from Northfield? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have amended the bill. Please listen to the third reading of the bill.
H. 898, an act relating to copper-based to fiber-based telecommunications network transitions and consumer protections.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? If so, member from Coventry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On Friday, I inquired of the member from Dover, and the question was whether or not the legacy telephone companies that we have in the state will continue to be required to be the provider of last resort. Right now, it's yes. I think it's something that we all need to keep in the back of our minds, that these legacy telephone companies, the provider of last resort means that no matter where you are, they're required to provide you with telephone service. And so if we lose that ability, especially our rural areas, people could lose their telephone service. So we need to, I think we need to be cognizant of that and make sure that we're protecting all of our Vermont citizens, even in the rural areas. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you have passed the bill. Members, that completes the orders of the day. Are there any announcements? Member from Essex Junction.
Madam Speaker, House Democrats will caucus in room 11, 10 minutes after the floor.
Member from Poultney.
Madam Speaker, House Republicans will caucus 10 minutes following adjournment in room 10.
Member from Burlington.
Madam Speaker, the House Progressives shall caucus in room 44, I think, at noon, and today's guest is the Land Access Opportunity Board presenting on the work of the Community Resilience Awards, Small Scale Developer Training Program, and the Secure Housing Coach Program.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, member from Poultney, can you please offer us a motion to adjourn until Wednesday, February 18th at 3:30 p.m.?
Madam Speaker, I make a motion this body stand in adjournment until Wednesday, February 18th, 2026 at 3:30 p.m.
You've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? If so, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it.